especially in Asia, I find there's a part of life is based on your destiny. I don't know what will happen next year, but you know what? You let it go. You will have to say yes or no to some um, choices. You will have to make a choice sometimes, but it's the beauty is go for it.
Hello, my name is Renee Leith-Manos. Welcome to this podcast, Where to From Here, featuring conversations about luxury travel and how it's changing in every pocket of the globe. Hello there. My name is Renee Leith-Manos and I'm sitting in Sydney, Australia. And this is the podcast Where to From Here, where we interview some of the luxury hotels industry's biggest names about the most luxury experiences and hotels all over the globe. Today, I'm going to Vietnam in Southeast Asia, to Ho Chi Minh, to a beautiful hotel, which is part of the M Gallery collection. And I'm going to talk to Philippe Le Bourhis, who's French, about Vietnam and about his 35-year career in the industry. Welcome, Philippe.
Hello, Renee.
Now, a Frenchman in Southeast Asia, was that a big decision when you first went to Southeast Asia, and how did you end up there?
Actually, I've been in Southeast Asia for over 30 years. So it was a long-term decision, a long time ago. I wanted to travel the world. And at that time, I was told, try Asia because it's going to change and boom, and they will need future leaders. So I came as a young 25-year-old junior manager, and here it is.
Did your French family think you were crazy? I mean, let's be honest, France is one of the most magnificent countries in the world.
Yeah, at times they thought I was crazy, but then now they are jealous because life in Southeast Asia is beautiful.
Yeah.
What I like, and I'm so used to it now that this is home.
Yes, absolutely. Now, I saw that you worked and lived in Jakarta, and I lived in Jakarta.
Yes,
How was your experience in that amazing Indonesian city?
it's a big city, lovely people, very diverse because not many people understand the diversity of Indonesia. But the first word you learn is macet, right? Because the traffic is quite something in Jakarta, and I was right in the center of the city, so traffic could be a bit overwhelming at times, but you get used to it.
Which hotel? Which
I
hotel
was
were
at
you
the
managing?
Pullman Jakarta, Indonesia, on the Bundaran.
Because I was living in SGBD, so the Langham and Alila hotels were my locals. But I lived in an apartment where I could walk everywhere. This is one solution to the problem in Jakarta. But the pollution in the air, I didn't come up with a solution for that problem. Apart from flying to Bali.
Yes, yeah, it's true. The pollution now in around the cities of the world or Southeast Asia, at least, the pollution starts to be unfortunately a bit normal. We get used to it.
Yes, and pollution and rubbish, might I say, all of them. It's not great. So where is your favourite place that you've lived so far in Southeast Asia in 30 years as a Frenchman in Southeast Asia?
It's hard to say where because it depends on which point of your career, which type of hotel. Are you by yourself or with a couple or with children? But I really love two places. There's three places I like the most. First was Bangkok. I spent 7 years in Bangkok. Bali, obviously, because there's a lot of charm in Bali. And of course, Saigon. Ho Chi Minh City is a beautiful place. It's vibrant, yet still has a lot of charm. So I love it. It's good.
And tell me, why do you think Bangkok is having such a moment? I mean, the Capella there was named the best hotel in the world just very recently. There's a ton of new restaurants, luxury hotels going up, and there are many commentators saying that it's overtaking Singapore as the leading city in Southeast Asia. What's your take on that?
I mean, the tourism industry is massive. The government is always doing more and more to attract tourism, to develop further. So the tourism board is very active in Bangkok. So I think that's what drives investors to do more and bigger and better and better and bigger. So it's I was there 2 weeks ago. The one Bangkok is just mind blowing, right? And there's more by the river, and there's more there. It's sometimes a bit much, but it's an amazing place for customers, right? For tourists.
Absolutely. So you were like what I would call probably the most bustling city location, and the most bustling resort location is Bali. Why do you think Bali is so successful as a tourist destination?
Bali has a unique vibe. The culture is very strong in Bali. So that makes the place different from sceneries.
Why do you think that is? I talk to a lot of people about this question because when you land in Bali, there's a feeling, like you called it a vibe, it's an energy. I feel it. And it's like you feel it at the airport when you land.
Ding dong dong ding dong dong dong. No, straight away you have the music, you have the outfits. In the hotel, I was at the. It was a while ago, but I was at the Novotel Benoit. We had one of the employee was a priest, so every half day per day, he would come around the hotel, put the incense on every corner of the hotel, at reception, everywhere. So it's just beautiful, and all their ceremonies. It's part of the daily life. So yes, it creates a unique vibe.
Yeah. And Vietnam is also very, very beautiful. And why does the city of Ho Chi Minh or Saigon still have two names?
Okay, the name is Ho Chi Minh City. That's the official name.
Yes.
Uh, Saigon is the old name, but also today is the commercial name. So a lot of hotels are using Saigon. Saigonese may use Saigon sometimes, but the official name remains Ho Chi Minh City.
But lots of people use Saigon. I know that even though I've traveled there many times, sometimes I still get confused. I'm like, hang on, which city?
Yeah, we can say both, but the
Yes.
official
Yeah,
name
yeah.
on the address remains Ho Chi Minh City.
Okay. And tell us about the hotel there.
So Hotel Des Arts Saigon is a beautiful luxury five-star boutique hotel. So we have 168 rooms, uh, lovely elegance. I think what the hotel has done greatly, the designers, it captures the elegance of the French and Vietnamese era of the last century. So beautiful details around the hotel, art collection, the uniforms, everything is very detailed and curated to to the hotel and what people want to see in Ho Chi Minh City. So it's very Saigonese because it brings that elegance of the past, which people want to see.
Yes. And of course, the French culture is very much a part of the past and the present in Vietnam and in Saigon, right?
Yeah, especially the past. There's ingrained details of the past from the architecture because you look at the post office, the city hall. It's definitely there's a French touch imprint there, but also some cultural, like even on the food, we have the banh mi, for example, which is a baguette filled with the pate and the local pickles, and it's beautiful.
So good. I love those banh mi. Oh,
Yeah, so the banh mi is unique, but it's quite funny as a French. You see people eating their banh mi on the street, and they love it. It's part of their culture. So that's one of the really items that we really cross cultured.
absolutely. And another one, of course, is the French wine, because you've lived in Indonesia, as have I. And I don't know about you, but I really struggled because it's really hard in Indonesia to find decent wine, especially at a decent price. It's all pretty lowbrow. Whereas in Vietnam, it's fantastic because even just a simple glass of white wine is more often than not French. It's not too expensive and it's very good.
Correct. So there's a lot of choice here available of different products. Wines are easily available, but they love their beers. The Vietnamese love, and they got that also. You take Saigon Special, Saigon beer. It's very much from the, you can see the touch from the French era. You have still the 333, which is also on this heritage, based on the heritage.
Yes. Yeah, wow. Well, it's the weather for it, isn't it?
Yes, yes, correct.
It really is. I mean, there's bintangs in Indonesia. It's very much part. I don't drink beer, but it's very much a part of the scene in Southeast Asia. And I saw Kirk Westaway's name. Now, of course, Kirk Westaway is very much a lauded chef, very well known in Singapore. Talk us through what he's doing at your hotel.
So I'm very happy to work with Kirk. We actually set up. It took us 18 months to plan, design, renovate the restaurant and open it. So Kirk is still based at Jan in Singapore. It's a 2 Michelin-Star restaurant, but he designed the menus, trained the team. We have a British chef also here, Christopher Clark, who is based here, selected by Kirk, and basically doing all the menus and this British elevated cuisine, modern British cuisine.
And how long did it take to conceptualize that restaurant from start to finish?
So it took 18 months, a bit long, but because also we have to renovate at the right time. We can't renovate in the high season. So the whole process of this talking, the first time I thought, wow, it's a new idea. It's quite, daring to have British cuisine here. There's
Well,
not,
given it's so much the French,
yeah.
given the French influence is so strong, is that why you thought it was so daring?
Yes, it was daring. It was also working with a 2 Michelin-Star chef. Michelin started 2 years ago in Vietnam, so it's still new. So we talked about Bangkok. Bangkok 10 years ago was actually maybe similar to what is Saigon or Vietnam today, but it has elevated itself a lot since Michelin arrived. And I think now that Michelin has started in Vietnam, some chefs are interested, like Kirk, are interested to come, and we are going through a new elevating elevating the dining scene in Hanoi, Ho Chi Minh City, and even Da Nang. So Vietnam is going the right way.
Well, it needed to happen. And I mean, not that we want to talk about COVID, but a lot of Southeast Asia, including Vietnam, was closed down. And that's now giving rise to a lot of opportunities to pivot, right? And do things differently and be a lot more creative. Yeah. And with your guests, what are they looking for now that they perhaps weren't looking for before?
So they were always looking at luxury, personalized service, but now personalized service is going through a different level. They want to have something curated, something more personalized, as well as the the wellness. Sorry, wellness is more and more important. Eating right. So we have, for example, 25% of our menus are vegetarian and vegan. It's part of the M gallery direction. So health is more and more important, but personalized service, the experience is experiencing what is Saigon. So from food,
There's so much history there. I mean, the museums that you have there, the war museums, I took my children, I've taken them there twice. And it's mind blowing. They're done so well. It's really easy for little children or teenagers or grown adults to completely get a picture of what went on there. And it's pretty horrifying if you don't know it and you learn it when you get there, right? I mean, there's a lot to it.
yes, and Vietnam went through a lot over the last century, or 1,000 years of history. Vietnam has a long history, so they went through a lot, and they are very resilient. Resilience is really what makes Vietnamese so strong.
Yeah, I would also say that they're very entrepreneurial and ambitious. I know that from a female perspective, it's one of the best places in the world to get your nails done, to get your eyelashes done, anything in the beauty category, they are the top. No, they're very, very resilient. And what is the wellness offering that you have at the hotel,
So,
apart from the food?
food is an important part. We also have a spa, Spa de l'Apothicaire on the third floor, where we have a selection of massage and treatments. We work with, we have a mix of local products as well as Swiss products, Valmont.
It's a beautiful brand. Very, very nice. And who is your client base now? Where are they coming from around the world?
So traditionally, here we have a strong US and European base. So that's the heritage, I would say. UK, France, Germany, the US. And we saw a growing number of Vietnamese. So there's more and more Vietnamese guests coming. Other Asians, Chinese, Thais are coming more and more now. And amazingly, the Australians. The Australians have been, it was very quiet still after COVID, but the last couple of years, it's grown a lot. So doubled.
And what's changed that? Why are Australians coming in bigger
You still
numbers, do
have
you
to
think?
apply for a visa, so it's still not. Hopefully soon the visa will be lifted, so that will be much easier to travel. But I think they've no a lot of Australians have been numerous times to Bali, to Thailand, and in Vietnam gives another option, a different type of country with different history, different. I think the authenticity we have in Vietnam is just amazing, and that other places are step by step losing it. But here you still feel the Vietnamese cultural heritage. So
But also the food.
and the food,
I mean, the wonderful thing is, that anyone can go there. I mean, like students, and they can just eat street food, and it's very good quality. It's
yes,
delicious. You don't get sick of it
correct,
because there's lots of different things,
and very healthy
and it's
because there
very
are a lot of
good for.
vegetables here. It's beautiful.
Yes.
Not too
Yeah, it's
spicy,
very, very clean.
compared to some
Yes.
countries in Asia where it can be very spicy. There's a lot of fresh
Yes.
products and not over spicy, so you can choose.
No, absolutely.
It's easy to
And as a
choose.
Frenchman, are you able to eat spicy food or no?
Well, I spent 12 years in Thailand, so I like spicy food. So it's why, but it's nice to have a choice here because few dishes are spicy, but
Yeah,
most of it is not. Or you can have the
yeah,
chili on the
that's true.
side.
Yeah, that's true. And Philip, what was it that made you go into the luxury hotel industry in the first place?
I've been in different, working for Accor for a long time, different brands, and I love my time at. I did 7 years with Pullman Hotels. It was great, but I wanted to continue the journey towards luxury. I wanted to drive the search for excellence, the details we can see in the luxury market. So this is something I was passionate about, and I was looking for an opportunity. And thanks to my team in Accor, they really gave me this opportunity because this hotel is really special.
Yeah, brilliant. And do you think you're in Southeast Asia forever?
We never know, right? But this is home. I have a second home in Southeast Asia. Of course, I'm French. France remains deep, in my roots. But Southeast Asia, I spent 30 years in Southeast Asia. So, wow.
Yeah, wow.
I'm so used to it that somewhere when I go to France, the first 2 weeks is great. And then after, I feel a bit, you know, different from the others.
Yes. How often do you travel, and is it always to France? And when you travel, is it in luxury?
So, I go normally once a year to France, but I travel in the region.
Mhm.
I love going to Hanoi because Hanoi is Vietnam, but it's a different part of the country. There's different vibe, and Sofitel Legend Metropole Hanoi is just
Oh,
amazing.
I've just stayed there. I just stayed there with my family for Christmas, and George, the GM, is so lovely.
So George, Anthony, and the team are just amazing. So I love staying there. Last 10 days ago, I was at in Bangkok. I was staying at the Sofitel Bangkok Sukhumvit.
I've stayed there too. They've just done the renovation.
Exactly. So Oliver was fantastic, and with the team. So I had a great stay there.
Yeah, and I think I really love the Japanese restaurant at Sukhumvit, Bangkok. They've really done something incredible with the interiors, don't you think?
Correct.
It's really beautiful.
And Belga at the top. Mm.
Yeah,
Yes, yes,
beautiful,
yes.
beautiful hotel. And where do you stay when you go to France? With your family?
Yes, with the family.
Yeah, and where are
So
they
that's
from?
that's the time. So in Brittany, in the northwest of France,
Beautiful.
where we have nice seafood and the crepe and
Yes.
different specialties like this.
Yeah. And do you have a family with you in Southeast
Yes,
Asia?
yes, yes. My wife is here now. The kids are grown up. They live in Europe. One in England because my wife is English. So we have our daughter in England and our son in France.
That's so interesting that you have that connection and you're opening a British restaurant.
And it was not on purpose. It was just an opportunity.
Oh,
I
that's what
thought,
they all
wow.
say. Keeping her happy, keeping her happy.
Yes,
And how do
true.
you feel about London?
Actually, I because my wife is from York, from the north of England, so we rarely go to London. We go straight to the north to York, which is also a beautiful, not as warm as Vietnam.
Yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's a bit colder.
Yes, that's for sure. But sometimes it's relief, right? Hanoi's a little bit like
Yes,
that. I mean, I was there at Christmas. We had to put our cardigans on and
yes,
things. It was quite cool.
that's
Uh,
true.
yeah,
It's nice to wear a jumper time to time.
that's right. That's right. Quelquefois. And how do you keep in touch with travel trends then? And do things change a lot in Vietnam?
So there's different events here in town with specialists. That I think that's number one. We have, today it's easy to see the press and to get newsletters. So we see the travel trends. There's so many. And through Accor also we have our webinars and meetings, yearly meetings. So to keep in touch with the trends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
And when you look back at your career, because a lot of people who watch this podcast are in the industry or want to be in the industry, what would you do differently? And what would your recommendations be to someone who wants to sit in 30 years' time where you're sitting right now?
Well, you need to dare traveling, not being worried about what will happen tomorrow. No, today is today. Make the best of it. Learn, develop your skills, connect, and in especially in Asia, I find there's a part of life is based on your destiny. I don't know what will happen next year, but you know what? You let it go. You will have to say yes or no to some um, choices. You will have to make a choice sometimes, but it's the beauty is go for it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's great
Mm.
advice. That's great
If
advice.
you and karma, if you do good today, good will happen to you tomorrow.
That's
So I
very
think
true.
it's important to think like this.
Yes.
Um, so it allows to be happy to give, to develop people, to train, to give. And in hospitality, we can't be selfish. We have to develop because your team of today will be your managers of tomorrow, and otherwise they leave the industry. So it's important that we develop, we give, we nurture our teams,
Absolutely.
and they give
Um,
so much back to you.
yeah. And what has kept you in the luxury business for 35 years?
Well, the passion to make people happy, passion to create an experience, passion for the vibe, because we have a special vibe in hotels. It's a lot of work. Now we tend to work many hours. Sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, but when you love it, it's fine, and you find a way to balance your life.
Yes, makes sense. And what is the secret to that vibe that you describe? And you described that quite a lot in our conversation today. Where
Yes.
does that come from? I mean, you're in charge. How do you create that vibe?
Well, teams, number one, you need to ensure the teams are connected, the teams are engaged, trained, developed, they're happy to work, because that starts there. Then you inspire them. And then after, so if you have the team behind you, it's already a big chunk, you know, done and achieved. And then after is to connect with the guests. Because at the end, for me, I get my energy from people. Sometimes they drain you too, you know, things happen, but moments with the guests, moments with the team that are just amazing. So that emails probably drain my energy because you have to do it, but it's tiring, it's exhausting. But spending time with the guest and the team, I just love it. So for me, this is my vibe. This is my energy, my passion.
But look, it's lovely to talk to you. I'd love to come and see the hotel when I'm next in Ho Chi Minh because I've heard so many wonderful things about it. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day. Don't forget to subscribe here and follow us on Instagram and Facebook for regular travel updates. You can also hear our episodes on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.